At 7 o'clock, we will call the public hearing on the local option sales tax usage on the November ballot to order. Roll call: Chisman.
Present.
Benge.
Present.
Smith.
Present.
VanDorin.
Present.
Cope.
Present.
Okay, a little background here. I will read what we have down to go on. Actually, I'll just read the summary, and then it will be, we do have a copy of the wording, how it will appear on the ballot. We talked to Mickey at the League of Cities after the last meeting, and he said since we're not adjusting the amount or the sunset date on that we actually didn't need a public hearing, but we figured since we'd already talked about it, and we would give the citizens a chance to voice their concerns or any complaints or anything they need to provide us. Notice of the public hearing: we are putting the use of local option sales tax on the November ballot. Summary: to authorize a change in local option sales tax revenue in the incorporated city of Blakesburg, the use of 1% local sales and services tax shall be changed in the following areas effective 90 days following the election. Proposed uses of the tax: if the change is approved, revenues from the local sales and services tax shall be allocated as follows: 0% property tax relief. The specific purpose for which the revenue shall otherwise be expended is 100% to be used in the city of Blakesburg's general budget for several corporate purposes and any lawful purpose. 100% of the fund balance in the local option sales fund shall be transferred to the general fund for several corporate purposes or any lawful purpose. Current uses of the tax: revenues from the sales and services tax are currently allocated as follows: 0% for property tax relief. The specific purpose for which the revenues are otherwise expended is 100% for capital improvements. Okay, and that is actually verbatim what is on, will be on the ballot language. So, have anybody, any objections from?
What's the term length?
The term length, that's a great question. It goes along with the Wapello County and Ottumwa's. I want to say 2025, I believe.
I think you're right.
I think it is 2025 from talking to Morgan and Parker. I'm 90% sure, but I don't remember the exact date. So that does, I mean, it'll be
7 years.
7 years, yeah. As a lot of you know, who's been attending these meetings for a long time, the general fund's been in arrears for quite some time, and we'd like to get it. I mean, that's kind of the reason for putting it in the general fund. We have a lot more. You can basically use that money toward all your pressing needs if it's in the general fund, whereas if it's in capital improvements, you're very limited on what your usage can be.
7 years isn't too bad. Had it been a 10-year, I was going to recommend that you guys propose 5 years to get your financial order back on the ground, and then 5 years for roads and something else, you know, as an example. But 7 years, that sounds pretty good.
And I can check on that for sure tomorrow morning from you. But I'm, like I said, 90%. I'm remembering that 2025 sticking in my head pretty good. So, council members, any comments, objections, questions?
It's a definite deal. We need to get it done so we can kind of get out of the hole and get back on track. So everybody has to do their part in really talking to some people and trying to get that to pass.
All right. If there's no more objections, I would entertain a motion to close the hearing.
Make a motion to close the hearing. I'll second it.
Motion by Benge, second by Chisman. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, now we'll call the regular city council meeting to order. Roll call: Chisman.
Present.
Benge.
Present.
Smith.
Present.
VanDorin.
Present.
Cope.
Present.
Everybody's here. All right. I will take a motion to approve the agenda for this evening.
I'll make a motion to approve the tonight's agenda.
Motion by Chisman.
I second it.
Second by Cope. I did just ahead of Benge there. All in favor?
Aye.
All ayes? Nobody opposed? also entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll give you that motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion by Smith,
I'll second it.
second by Chisman. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Okay. All right, Mayor's report for August. Great start to the month after the last meeting, a little more than a week afterwards. We'd approved last month to have the hedges removed that were full of poison ivy in the park, and the garden club's intention to plant flowers up there. Huge thanks to Councilman Smith, VanDorin, and also City Superintendent Ballot and Eric Klein for the use of his skid loader, and Buddy Allison for giving us a place to dispose of our stuff there. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it for all your help and getting those cleaned up. I'm really excited to see what the garden club comes up with to put some flowers up there. It looks like it'll look like $1 million if what happens up here comes to fruition. We kind of, due to surgery, knee surgery last month, or last couple of weeks here, our city clerk was out of the office for a couple of weeks, and due to HIPAA regulations, we couldn't announce that information publicly. That's why there was a sign on the door that was kind of vague and said to get a hold of me or Mr. Smith, but she gave me the green light tonight to say that the surgery went well. She's getting around pretty good. I make her do laps around City Hall a couple times a day to make sure and keep the knee loosened up and everything. So, but Ina's back, and we will be back to a regular schedule here very soon at City Hall. So, thank everybody for their patience with that matter. As we prepare to move forward with our tree removal in the park, there has currently been $175 donated from townspeople that are interested in helping out with this project. I'm extremely excited to see the park cleanup continue. I think that's really neat. Something else we can get done here. So, one thing that I didn't write down in my notes, and I got out here and I was kind of freaking out because it needed to be mentioned, was the cemetery board has been working with the city very closely on their memory board that they had that used to sit back behind the shed down there on the north side of the cemetery. They've ordered new plates for nameplates for people that have donated to the cemetery in the past, and they're going to move the sign over to, it's right at the end of Cass Street, I believe. There's a spot that they've got kind of picked out that I think it's going to look really, really great. Going to kind of, I don't know exactly the details. Are they going to have it lit up, or?
I want it lit.
I think that was the intent, was maybe to have some light shining on it so people could see it down there. And I think it's going to be really neat and just kind of just cemetery up a little bit. It'd be really, really cool. I know Councilman Smith and VanDorin have had a lot of meetings with the cemetery board president, Paul Wilson, and Vice President Boyd Britton, and Judy sat in on a few of them. So I think that's going full steam ahead, looking to get that done. Then we have this Thursday, August 16th, Brian Van Cleve, our cinematographer here at all these meetings, has organized a water balloon fight in the park. I'm excited to say that this time, this will be the third one he's had, the kids will be able to throw balloons at the mayor, as I'll be able to attend, and I'll be there and let the kids come up and throw balloons at me, and should have a lot of fun. This little get-together has been funded by Chuck Fasala, Janie Force, Marilee Townsend, Dorothy Wells, Lizzie Howie, and Sherry Arnold. Hot dogs and hamburgers are going to be grilled by volunteers, and we hope to see lots of kids lots of community kids in the park Thursday to come throw balloons at me and everything. So, kind of excited. Should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, make sure I'm freezing them.
Lastly, I just want to remind everyone, as I saw on the council last year, meetings at times became free-for-alls, and really not wanting that to happen again. Your input is important to all of us, and that being said, the agenda is posted every Friday. If you have questions or concerns, please reach out to myself or any councilman before the meeting, as this is the time for the council and the mayor to render decisions. I think that's how a lot of things got tabled in the past, is people would just kind of start talking from the audience and getting the council members to have their mind made up when we got here, and then kind of change and start going sideways. But we're all pretty available to be reached to come voice your concerns to us before we get here to the meeting. I think we've done a real good job, this particular council, of researching things before we go to the meetings. And and knowing that what we get on the agenda is stuff that we can pass and get things done. And there's also time, that's when we really like people to speak, as opposed to just kind of hollering from the back row, first row, corner, bathroom, wherever. But just let everybody know, we appreciate your input, but let's kind of do it in a good form. So that's all I have. Thanks a bunch. We will move on to public comment. So is there any communication from the public by chance on an agenda item this evening? Okay, don't think so. Moving forward then, old business. Our resolution 18.8.13, old business, resolution 18.8.13.1, local option sales tax. This will be passing what we already discussed at the public hearing. We do need to waive the second and third reading, correct? Or is this not something that we need to do that with? We don't need to do that with this. Okay. All right. That's why I'm glad I'm back. So I will take a motion to pass the resolution 18.8.13.1 local option sales tax.
I'd very much like to do that. I make a resolution to pass 18.8.13.1.
Motion by Smith,
I'll second that.
seconded by Coe. Roll call. Chisman.
Aye.
Benge.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
VanDorin.
Aye.
Coe.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Okay, as you guys got tonight, we didn't have them in your packets, but we printed them off so you guys could all see them. We ended up with 3 bids for the trees in the park. And they were all fair bids. There was, originally, we planned on 4 trees, and then there was a lot of discussion about the 5th tree in the park on the north side. They've been marked with X's. These bids all come in by August 1st. We're going to decide tonight, call these people tomorrow, and they have till September 13th, I believe, to have the work done, was what we decided on last month, so they'll be done in time for the corn carnival. The mayor's recommendation, as we had 3, one of them included removal. And to me, that is worth, there was 2 of them that were the same dollar amount for all 5 trees. One included removal, the other one didn't. And
Removal, but no raking and cleaning up. Didn't have any, they would remove the brush, the trees, but no cleaning up of the area.
okay. And the other one will clean up the area.
Clean it up, and we don't pay them until we like what it looks like.
So by looking at those, I would say, I will recommend, and you guys can discuss this, that I recommend we go with A&A Tree Service out of Wetumpka. They were the ones that said they would clean up everything in the park and take down all 5 trees for $1,500.
And basically on that, we kind of added in that 5th tree on all of these people, had them send 2 bids in. Because we had some inkling that we were gonna get some donation, but I mean, that guy even said, need be, he would take half the payment and wait 90 days for half the payment, but I mean, if it works out and we, hopefully we'd get a little more,
Get some more money donated
yeah,
and help with
because that other tree is kind of it's a big tree and a pretty good, we're getting an awful good price on these anyway. But, so hopefully we can get a little more money and get that 5th trees. Yeah, I would say just go for the 5th tree and use that A&A.
Are we in agreement? A&A, well, I will
I
take
guess move a motion
to offer the contract to A&A.
A&A, and I think we need to call, we've got their, I don't think you've called on the insurances yet.
I know for that, I'll give him a call tomorrow.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what was gonna happen.
So no, we just need to call and check on the insurance, but, so yeah, that being said, I moved to make a motion that we accept that bid and,
From A&A Tree Service?
yeah.
Have a motion to accept the bid from A&A Tree Service. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Smith. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, in your packet is included our fall office hours as our city clerk goes back to school and her, I don't know, are we the moonlighting job or is that the moonlighting job? The part
Depends
time
on
teacher?
the
Okay. So, she's gonna go back to teaching at Indian Hills, so the hours will change. This will be our fall hours. Monday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., Tuesday, 8 a.m. to 11:30 a.m., Wednesday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Thursday, 8 a.m. to 11:30 a.m., and Friday will be 8 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. I will take a motion to pass resolution 18.8.13.2, fall office hours.
I'll make a motion that we pass resolution 18.8.13.2, all office hours.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Smith. Roll call. Chisman.
Aye.
Benge. Smith.
Aye.
VanDorin.
Aye.
Coe.
Aye.
Motion passes. All right. Okay, next up on the agenda, we discussed it last week that we're gonna start there's some blind intersections and there's some other stuff going on in town. That we've posted some no parking signs and stuff. We've got more on the way. A couple of the places that I'm most concerned about, I hadn't ordered the right wording for the signs. I was trying to come up with how I wanted to have them worded, and that's why they're not up currently. Ball diamond, when people are out there for games, there'll be vehicles parked right next to the stop sign going south or to where you can't see if you're pulled up to the stop sign, and the same way coming from the north, they line up all the way to the corner. Like to get a couple places there. And I think I addressed over here by the shop last week, if they get real close to the corner up here and you can't see anything going to that. So I'd like to get one on the south side of the street there. And we'll get these ordered and get them in as soon as possible so we can get them put in the ground. We've also restricted some parking in some other areas around town for safety concerns. I know it's no secret, we had an accident here a couple weeks ago, and that got me thinking a lot about public safety and other things. And we have, cars lined up and down both sides of kind of our main street. It makes it real hard for somebody to get over and let emergency vehicles through. So your safety is a huge concern of this council and myself. So I guess what I'm looking for is you read it in there. First fine, this be enforced by the county sheriff's office. But the first offense, sorry, thank you. First offense, and this is an addendum to our parking, our fine ordinance that we passed there in June. But the first offense for parking in a restricted area would be $20, and the second offense would be $50. So I don't think it's going to be an issue. But I think these are pretty much in line with parking fines everywhere else. I haven't had a parking ticket since I went to college, so I guess I don't know that for a fact. But
I have a question on that.
yeah.
If, I don't know what the bigger cities do, like Tacoma or whatever, but if you get habitual offenders, I don't know if that goes up for like 3 or just how they handle that after that.
If we have habitual offenders, I think we can always come back and revisit this and institute stiffer penalties.
And there's another, anybody in the public, if, like blind corners we're trying to get away from, if you guys know of a blind corner. I know there's a bad one by this bar we need to do, coming up that street and kind of looking to the west. It's a terrible corner, but because there's that ramp there, we might be able to take away one parking spot there and help that. That's a spot that, if you guys come across these spots, feel free to help us figure that out. And
Find spots where we might need to restrict parking. That would be great. If you find any place else that we haven't thought of that it's can be an issue, that will be an issue perhaps to.
And also down at the ballpark, I'd like to see, we've had some problems and it's not it's not going away, but it might go away here now, but, by calling the law when there's kids' ball games and stuff. You have speeding differences in, construction zones and stuff. I think when there's ball games or, basically it's not school, but it's just solid little kids' functions and they're parked on both sides. We need to check into that and pass something that, that I
Increase.
think, somebody, whether it be a city council member or a public person, there needs to be some stiffer penalties,
For speed.
carried right there for speeding or just spinning around in corners, and that's a way, way dangerous spot, and it seems to be happening.
It's terribly dangerous.
Yeah.
That's why we were out there a
And
couple
it's
Wednesdays
really-
ago.
We're very lucky nobody's been killed.
Yeah, it's getting out of hand.
A couple Wednesdays ago, there were people flying by out there, and we had a bunch of adults playing ball, but the kids were out chasing home run balls,
Yeah.
chasing foul balls. Stayed on the ballpark property, I mean, for the most part, but, I mean, if one of them were to run,
Well, even walking to a car to get a drink or something.
Yeah.
We need to check into that and somehow get, it's just, there's gotta be something different,
an increase in the
Yeah.
fines in that kind of
I mean,
area.
even, I'm a firm believer the speed limit should be like 5 through there when there's games played or something, but somehow there's gotta be something we need to look into.
Maybe do that, I mean, not hard to order a couple of signs, you wanna put it to 10? I wouldn't have a problem with that at all.
That's
That's
something-
something to talk
I
about
would say
later.
let's
but-
Yeah, it's something we'll have to get on. I mean, this year, we're pretty much done out there after the carnival, but then going into next season, that's something that we definitely need to discuss and
Well,
talk
while
about.
we're doing these signs, that's what I wanna
Right.
get that addressed, but also, also these other blind spots and stuff, just, and we kinda read through, some of the state, the state doesn't like main highways running through town, parking on both sides. They adamantly want parking on one side, not both sides, just in case of emergency, and we kinda ran into that what he was talking about 2 weeks ago, so that's something we have to, keep in mind too, on that main drag, on the county line.
The State Street out here, we've had some people park and cut it down to one lane.
Yep, and that's
Yeah,
something.
that's not
it's-
good.
Yeah, that's something that's been discussed, and that we're gonna have to look into that one too, making State Street,
And-
probably from this block going.
And
east.
depending on the railroad tracks, you got times tractors and stuff use, it's all these roads, 'cause we got an elevator right there, so you've got to, we can't afford to have these streets blocked down. Now, I don't know, that's the kind of safety stuff we need to be looking at, and so definitely an ongoing thing.
Bloomfield has speed bumps by all their towns.
Yeah.
We've got a few of those out there right now.
Yeah, those ones weren't constructed, those ones are, nature doing that, so, yeah.
In all seriousness, the,
You gotta slow down to like 5 miles an hour.
Yeah, I've been down
We
there,
need to do that.
that's something to
But
think about.
some people speed up to 70 mile an hour, and I've seen it, so.
Yeah.
It
we're
don't
lucky
matter.
we haven't had a kid killed. In all seriousness, there's been a couple of times out at the ball diamond, and
Yeah.
I think anybody that talks to at least 3 of us on the council, we're furious about it. I mean, it's gotta stop.
Especially when it's dusty.
Yep,
Oh.
absolutely,
Yeah,
and where it
Jason,
dries,
that,
it's been.
that bridge is pretty dangerous. There's been kids over there on skateboards at the top coming down this side. Car comes over that bridge, it's gonna hit them.
And I guess that's something that we need to, that if you see something like that happening, Sheriff Miller, we've had a lot of discussions with him, and he says, you guys need to call us if you see something like that, and that would be considered criminal mischief. I would
If you
say,
don't wanna
tonight.
call him, call us.
Call us and we can make
Because
that
that's
call.
basically-
And we can make
I
that.
just seen you called somebody as nobody,
Because we don't,
yeah.
public safety is definitely something that I take very seriously, and I think everybody else does as well.
And it's- the signage, I didn't even go on about it, that's just part of it, all this needs to be, we need to look for blind corners and take care of this stuff.
Yep.
So, go on about it.
You're all right, buddy, that's no problem.
Glad you did.
So, I will look to have a motion to approve resolution, this is a resolution, correct? Resolution 18.8.13.3.
I make a motion to accept resolution 18.8.13.3.
I'll second it.
This is motion by Cope, seconded by Benge. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, roll call, excuse me, that was yeah, this is a resolution. I'm still learning. Chisman,
Aye.
Benge,
Aye.
Smith,
Aye.
VanDorin,
Aye.
Cope.
Aye.
The ayes have it. No nays. Okay, this last one is I wanna kind of discuss with you guys, and we passed this around the table. We sent in, January or February, I think, possibly March, I guess, information about a rate study to the Iowa Rural Water Association, so they could possibly tell us where our rates need to be. They haven't got back to us because one year we weren't collecting water and sewer very well, and that caused us, they couldn't get a good grasp of it. Well, then, this coming year, if we send them the paperwork again, we've collected all kinds of it, so then that throws stuff into a wreck. So what's going on is there's been about 3 days I've come over to City Hall and racked my brain trying to come up with a fair rate that will get us where we need to be to start laying back where we need to lay back. Because we had, the council in the past, when we approved the sewer project that they did, they pledged to put back 110%, and that is ordinance, Iowa code.
384.1, I think. I've read it enough, I should have it memorized.
But it's something that hasn't been done, and we haven't kept up with the water and sewer rates, more so the sewer side than the water side. I want us to set up a special work session, and that's where we'll come in, we'll discuss it, I'll show you where I put pen to paper and what I've come up with. Ina has shown us where the last 2 months are very similar on what we've used as a city for water and sewer. And that's what I've been basing my numbers on, has been the last 2 months. And I'm a sports guy, I'm a good numbers guy, batting averages and stuff, I love figuring that stuff, and it's oddly kind of fun for me to kind of try to come up with something that, to work with numbers like that, which, it's the nerd in me and the numbers, but I like numbers, and I'll try to help, show you guys where I'm going with it at this special work session. I'm looking at, I'm hoping today's the 13th, next Thursday, August 23rd, is everybody available for a 7 o'clock meeting that night? Okay. And this will be a work session, we'll come in, I'll show you what I've been at, and probably, we won't vote on anything. And then in the September meeting, we will probably put the rate increase,
The meters are just that far off that
and that's where the water rate increase comes in.
we have been going through and replacing quite a few meters, and we'll continue to replace them. And they cost money, but yeah, that's just another part of.
Talking about differentials, the outflow meter wasn't read for years out here.
We had a really big credit on
We
that.
got a big credit on that.
Yeah.
I thank Judy for that, because she asked me to check into something else, and that came to light.
Water's, it's almost a science when you start reading into it a little bit. Memory might be wrong, Houston, Texas, and they did put it in the paper. Leakage in Houston, Texas, was it last year or the year before, $34 million the city figured they lost, just on leaks.
Probably that's back to some old infrastructure, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
That's how we're dealing with that. I mean, it's a problem everywhere. So we're gonna need to get together, I think, August 23rd, 7 o'clock. I'll take a motion for somebody, or if somebody would give me a motion, that we'll put that on the.
I'll give you the motion.
Do we need to do that as a motion item? Yeah. Take a motion to schedule a work session on April 23rd at 7 o'clock. Motion by Smith. Did I say April? August 23rd. All right, August 23rd.
I'll second.
Motion by Smith, seconded by Chisman. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No. Nobody's opposed. We're good. Okay, guys, I'll take a motion to adjourn. Benge makes a motion to adjourn, seconded by
I'll second.
VanDorin. All in favor?
Aye.
That's a wrap, fellas.